What's up guys, xHOUNDISHx here, and today we have some interesting, pretty big news from a recent Mashable interview with Luke Smith about the loot grind in Destiny 2. And they talk a lot about weapons and armor, how you acquire them and how they will work in Destiny 2. And I loosely spoke about this the other day. There was some speculation about weapon and armor rolls coming in Destiny 2, but we now have actual confirmation about what is going to happen. So during the interview, Luke Smith says there aren't random rolls on weapons anymore. Better Devils is a Crucible hand cannon in Destiny 2, and what it has on it is what it has on it, period. So that's a pretty big deal, you know. In Destiny 1 we have random weapon rolls, we have vendor rerolls. Every time you get a weapon dropped, it may have different perks. That is not going to be a thing in Destiny 2. They go on to say the lineup of stats and perks for every weapon and armor piece in Destiny 2 is now handcrafted. So it's going to be the same thing for armor as well. You know, if you have this armor piece, these are the perks that it has, and that's that. This does of course mean that Bungie have more flexibility when it's time to switch things up, you know, in terms of balance, and Luke Smith says you can look at the hand cannons now, for example, and track the data for everything. In Destiny 1, one of the big things was that, you know, you balance a weapon, but you're actually balancing an archetype of weapons, not necessarily an individual weapon, and this is why we've seen, you know, so many ups and downs with things like hand cannons in particular. But in Destiny 2, they'll be able to dive in, you know, look at a particular weapon or armor piece and tune its stats, perks, and everything like that. And in the article it says this added flexibility is great, but there's just one problem. With Destiny 2's much larger arsenal, handcrafted gear means that the lottery vibe for weapons in the game goes away. And the other issue with this, of course, is that it's going to be difficult to get excited about getting duplicates of weapons and things in the game. And Luke Smith says, how can my second, third, or 10th Better Devil hand cannon be interesting? That's a question we should be asking and answering as quickly as we can. We have ideas, and while I'd like nothing more than to share those ideas with you, we're up against a deadline, and I don't know if they'll make it in for the release date, but we do have ideas that we're pretty excited about. So yeah, no more randomly rolled perks on weapons or armor pieces. Bungie say they have some ideas about how they're going to make weapons interesting in the end game, but they don't have anything to share right now. So of course, this is pretty huge. In Destiny, the ability to roll random perk sets for weapons has been a massive part of the endgame when you think about it. You know, it creates so much replayability and progression for the game and for your characters. Having a god roll, IS Luna, or PDX, or whatever it is, gives you this great sense of progression and accomplishment to a degree, and serves to further attach you to your characters and your collections in the game. On top of this, there is the actual time investment that you spend getting these weapons and building your character. That is a chunk of Destiny really in the end game. That's what it's about. However, at the same time, we don't currently know how much of a role weapon mods will really play in Destiny 2. They do have the potential to make weapons more customizable at least, and we also don't know how much gear will be available. That's the thing as well. Of course, as Luke Smith said, this does make balance considerably easier to control and influence, so there will be some payoffs in that respect. There is also a big possibility that with this system, we could see legendary weapon kiosks in the game, since weapons will have fixed perks just like xHOUNDISHx, you know, which makes it relatively simple for you to just go and pick something up again. And then perhaps with these weapon mods, you'd be able to take a weapon out and do a series of customizations to the weapon. But we'll have to wait and see how it works, guys. I have concerns about the end game element of this and making gear hunting exciting in the game. But again, so many systems are changing here that we have to be careful when we look at something in the context of Destiny 1, you know. This weapon system in Destiny 1 would seem insane, right? But in Destiny 2, as we just spoke about, there could be 3 times the amount of weapons. It means different things for collecting in the game, plus you've got weapon mods which could have drastic impacts on customization and variety. Also, this isn't necessarily something that will be a problem for the game, you know, in the first 2-3 months, because everything will be so new, and if they are going to have the amount of content that we expect them to, and, you know, if they're time gating stuff like they did in the Taken King think then in terms of progression, you know, we could be okay for a while. We really have to learn more about how this system will integrate with everything else that's happening in the game. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's pretty interesting, definitely something that's going to change the way Destiny 2 works a little bit. I'll be curious to hear what you guys think below, but if you have enjoyed the video, a like is appreciated. Also feel free to hit that subscribe button to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. If you enjoy the content on the channel regularly, also feel free to check out my Patreon page if you want to show any support and unlock some pretty awesome rewards. All of that information will be in the description below, but for now, I appreciate you guys watching, and whatever you get up to, have an awesome day.